Good morning. Settling now into the seat of Virasana. And take a moment to settle into your seat of Virasana, the hero or heroine seat. And as always, if this seat is not comfortable for you, it's fine to sit cross-legged or in whatever seat is going to support you. All right, so find the seat of your comfort. That's right here, right now, this morning. And allow your gaze to settle, or maybe even look down at the floor or off the tip of your nose. And if you're ready to, you can close your eyes. And take a moment just to become present with what is for you right here, right now. So before we start engaging in the doing and the shaping and the changing and the working with prana, what's right here? What's right now? As you settle into your seat, as you settle into your breath, as you settle into your body, what do you notice? Can you pause to bear witness to what is for you right here, right now? And can you soften into whatever is right here, right now? Soften into it. That means accept, santosha. Find this place of accepting what is right here, right now, without even trying to change anything, just for the moment. Good. And then from whatever it is that you notice, go ahead and bring your hands into your ascending and descending colon. Now, I brought out our organ friend here in case you're not sure where your ascending, descending colon is. And I'll just show you. So feel free to open your eyes and look up here. Your ascending, it's your large intestine is what we're working with. So the ascending colon coming up your right side, pelvic half, transverse going across, dipping back a little bit, and then the descending colon pouring all the way down. And then, of course, it doesn't just go straight down, the large intestine. It comes up a little bit, and then it goes back down. And that's how we have a bowel movement. So this huge, beautiful organ of the large intestine is the organ and the tube for helping you to absorb whatever last bits and pieces of nutrients that you need to absorb. And this is physically and it's spiritually, right? It's everything. It's how do you take in the last bits and pieces before you say, okay, I'm letting go. So that last bit of absorption, you want to find how that large intestine yields into you. And then it's the ultimate organ of letting go. So in this moment, you can choose. You can either take your hands to your ascending, descending colon, or just rest them down on your legs and begin to get a sense of the whole tube. I almost think of the large intestine as like a picture frame that's surrounding the very important navel yield of the small intestine and the mesentery, the very important belly pit coming in and up. You've got this incredible picture frame of the large intestine surrounding it. So with your awareness, go ahead and find that undulation. It's not a hardening, it's not a pulling of the large intestine in and then downward current. So when you draw that large intestine in, you'll probably find that your pelvis is neutral. You don't end up tilting it forward or dropping it back, and that you're really down in the whole of your pelvic floor in a neutral way, and it's wide down there. So with a few breaths here, start to cultivate a soft yet deep Ujjayi pranayam, softening your tongue, your jaw, and your skin, and growing the Ujjayi with a focus on the exhale a little bit longer so that you can feel as you inhale, there's a little yield of that large intestine into you. And as you exhale, there's a currenting down through your body. See if you can stay with this. A few more breaths. And again, deepening and lengthening the Ujjayi. And if it's helpful for you, you feel that inhale guiding, that undulation of the yield. The yield of the large intestine into you can happen with any cycle of the breath, but I do invite you to play a little bit more clearly with how the exhale is giving you this current down, this grounding, this release, this letting go through the energetics of the large intestine into the marrow, inside your leg bones, and down into the earth. So 3 more breaths, just like that. So playing with softening your body, receiving the support of your large intestine, feeling how energetically large intestine gives us a downward current, gives us a letting go, right? Physically, it allows us to have a bowel movement. And energetically, it gives us this letting go, currenting down earthward. And why, one of the reasons, not why, but one of the reasons that it's so important is that if we aspire to living in the here and the now, if we aspire towards presence and awe and wonder and gratitude and love for right here, right now, we have to be able to let go of what just was. So our whole life becomes this process of letting go of what was so we can be in what is. And the large intestine is a profound support, physically, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, to help us yield into ourself, especially in this lower region of the body, in the first, second, and third chakras, and to find how we can current down and let go and release so that we can, every moment, there's a death and a birth, to be here now. So drawing your hands into Anjali Mudra, and feeling again that yield. It's an undulation, it's soft, it's not a hard pull, and how the current downward, it's not a collapse, but it's a release. Let's chant Om 3 times together and the peace mantra. So opening the way we always open, so that you have that container to ground yourself in. As you're ready, currenting the energy down through a nice long exhale and inhaling to begin. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu, ma vivishavahai. Shanti, Shanti. Om, may all beings be protected. May all beings be nourished. May we all learn to work together powerfully. May our studies and practices illuminate the way forward. And may we not oppose each other. May this country, especially at this time, come to find unity, respect, and harmony in our differences. And may we learn to let go in each moment so that we can become present to each moment. And as you're ready, again, take your hands to your ascending, descending colon. Allow your head to rise up and feel the space between each vertebra in your spine without pulling your spine up. And then when you're ready, with the next exhale, press down. Give a nice firm press down and away, diagonally in through your compact leg bones, into the marrow within your bones, and let it then come all the way down to your hands and knees. And as you come to your hands and knees, take your time to ground yourself down into earth. So feel the spreading of your hand bones, the bones in your fingers. Take your wrists shoulder width apart and slightly forward of your shoulders, and then spread your toes wide. Press the tops of your feet, shins, and knees down and diagonally away from you, back behind you. Now, bend your elbows a little bit down towards the earth. Push from your hands through to your tail. Do you feel how that moves you back in space a little bit? And then press from the tops of your feet, shins, and knees through to your crown. Do you feel how that moves you forward a little? Do both of them evenly and equally. And then find that undulation of the the large intestine. You want the small intestine to undulate back into you as well, but just for our focus this morning, it's more on the large intestine. So if you can find that full tube, it's the ascending, the transverse, and the descending. See if you can undulate it back into you. It's not a hard pull. And then yes, in the center of that picture frame of the large intestine, yes, the small intestine, the mesentery, it's also undulating back towards your lumbar spine and spreading left and rightward and crown and tailward. Draw your belly pit in and up. And as you're ready, curl your toes under. Wait for a nice long exhale and push with bent knees from your hands through to your tail into downward facing dog. Now, do bend your knees a lot here for this first one, and then bend your elbows down towards the earth. Again, reestablish the push. When you push with your arms, hands diagonally down and away from you, there's a rebound that comes up your palms, up your arms, down your spine, and it gives the tail the reach back and up. Now, with your knees bent, see if you can suction without hardening the whole tube of the large intestine back into you, but then current it down through the marrow inside your leg bones and then all the way down to your feet. Grow the ujjayi, and if you want to, if you can keep the large intestine really suctioning in and you bring the tops of the thighs back and you make space in your hip joints, you can start to descend your heels down if you have the range in your hamstrings. 2 or 3 more breaths here. And focus a little more on lengthening the exhale, supporting your body, mind, soul in letting go so that you can be here now. And now when you're ready, push off from your toes. Inhale, lift your heels. Now as you very slowly roll over the tops of the feet and lower the knees, yes, you're drawing Mula Bandha and belly pit up, but also suction the large intestine into you. Come back, Balasana, child's pose. Bring your tippy fingers to the earth. Press your tippy fingers down and away from you as you float your palms and underarms and armpits up. Do some gentle pulsing of the tops of your feet, shins, and knees into the earth, and feel a little compression in through your large intestine and your other organs by really resting your front body onto your legs. And see if you can take the compression of the legs up into your front body to support you in finding that undulating yield of the large intestine and your other organs back into you. 2 more breaths. Ujjayi, 3-part, 3-dimensional lung breath. And really fill up here in the back, bottom lobes of lungs. You know, lungs and large intestine are partners in the Chinese medicine perspective. Lungs and large intestine are governed by the autumn time and the metal element. They're really high this time of year. That's why we do a lot of letting go this time of year. Good. Now, when you're ready, keeping the yield of the large intestine into you, Mula Bandha and belly pit rising. Come on up, hands and knees, curl your toes under, and exhale, long exhale, downward facing dog. And again, bend your knees. As you push from your hands through to your tail and you really reach your tail back and up, what does it feel like to find the undulation of that picture frame, that long tube of the large intestine back into you, but then currenting down? And when it currents down, it should provide some space in your hip joints, so your groins are hollow. And no problem about keeping the knees bent. I always keep my knees bent because I have tight hamstrings. And then you can play with descending the heels a little more, but don't compromise your spine. Don't start rounding the back just to get the heels down. More important that, your hamstrings will get released no matter what. They will. They'll keep opening. But it's super important to protect the spine and to really have the support of the organs in the front body. Now, when you're ready, drawing Mula Bandha and belly pit up, suctioning the large intestine into you without hardening, lift your heels, and you don't have to roll over the toes if that's not comfortable. I love to do it because, I don't know, it feels like a nice massage. You're going to come down and come on up to knee standing. Now, in knee standing, take your hands again to the front of your pelvic halves and find that suctioning, it's a yield into you, but it's not a hardening of the tube of the large intestine. Keeping that suctioning in, step your right foot up into a very boxy lunge. Now, when you come into the boxy lunge, it's a little easier to feel the yield of the large intestine into you. Press your right pelvic half, leg, and foot diagonally down and away from you into the earth. Do you feel the rebound of prana, or just even rebound of life force or energy or movement? It's all the same thing. Come up from your foot, through your leg, all the way to your crown. Now, as you're ready, you're going to exhale. It's okay for your knee to pass your ankle in this low lunge. You're going to come down a little bit. Now, notice if you start to spill forward, right? This would be a spilling forward. You're not going to spill forward. You're going to keep that large intestine suctioning into you. Now, when we move in and out of this, you're welcome to scooch your foot forward if it doesn't feel good to have the knee go way past the ankle. And you're going to come in and out of it. So as you exhale, you're going to sit down. You can keep your hands right there to support and remind. Anytime you touch your body, you're inviting present touch. You touch in and it reminds the large intestine of itself, right? It becomes more self-aware and then it yields in. So keep your hands there. Exhale, sit down a little lower into the lunge without spilling your large intestine forward. Push down, inhale, come up, and exhale, sit down. We're going to move in and out of this 5 more times. See if you can really count the long exhale as it's released. 1, Long exhale, sit down. 2. Yield, push, receive, rise. Inhale. Long exhale, sit down. 3. Push to rise. Inhale. Sitting down. 4. Push to rise. And long exhale. 5. Good. Bring your hands to the earth. Curl your back toes under. Push from your hands through to your tail. Now, suction without hardening, large intestine towards the back of your pelvis, down your legs, and slip into plank. Yes, Mula Bandha is rising. Yes, belly pit is rising. And yes, you have the yield of the small intestine. And how beautiful. Now you have the support of the large intestine. Good. Now lower your knees, toes are curled under, and you're bowing your chest either halfway, hugging your upper arms into you, or all the way to the earth. Knees, chest, and chin. Ashtangasana Pranam. While you're here, push strongly, hands down and away. Hug your upper arms in. Groins are hollow, and it's that whole suctioning of the large intestine and then the reach of the lower part. So down through the rectum and the anus, there's a reach back and up. Good, now push out from your toes. Inhale, Bhujangasana, little baby Bhujangasana, baby cobra here. If you noticed your pelvic halves widening, just bring them in so that the bones of the pelvic halves down in the front, the ones that we call the pubic bones, can squeeze into the disc between them. And it's very beautiful. They can squeeze in and let go a little bit, like the sponging action. Now, again, finding the large intestine in and down through your legs, push up a little higher, cobra. Open your jaw, lift the jaw joints up towards the top of your head. Stay wide through your collarbones. Stay very long through the top vertebra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So every time you exhale your breath, especially when it's a long exhale, it supports the whole of your being, all the layers in letting go. Good. Now, come on down to your knees. Come up, knee standing. Touch into the front again through ascending, descending colon, and step your left foot up. Now, look at yourself here and feel where you are. This side is probably different than the other side. None of us are symmetrical. So what happens, and by the way, the leg that you're leaning on, the right leg back there, you need to press down. That back leg, top of the foot, shin and knee presses down, and you lift up out of that hip. I forgot to mention that on the first side, so it's really important. And then both fronts of the pelvic halves through the large intestine. What else is there? It's your psoas major also, coming in and currenting down. And this is what you want to keep when you move in and out. So if you want to, you can scoot your foot forward, really scoop the left sitting bone under and allow it to help you in pushing that left pelvic half, leg, and foot down and away, suctioning LI in. And just a little practice round to see how far you want your foot, right? I did scooch mine a little forward because it didn't feel good on my knee to have it so close. So see where you want to be. And drawing your inner thighs up, Mula Bandha, belly pit, large intestine, yield, and then down, nice long exhale, sit down. Push the earth down and away, receive the rebound that lifts you up as you inhale. Nice long exhale, 1. Push down, inhale, rise. Long exhale, 2. Be mindful if you spill out. Push down, inhale, come up. Long exhale, 3. You can have a blanket under your back knee, by the way, if it's hurting you. Come up, inhaling. How do you get up? You yield and push down. Sit down, 4. Inhale, And sit down, 5. Without spilling forward, keep the yield of the large intestine into you as you lower your hands. And yes, you keep pushing that left foot down and away. It's not just the foot, it's the leg and the pelvic half. Curl your right toes under, slip into plank. When you visualize the tube of the large intestine that you just saw in the model in the beginning of class, how does that help you? You visualize it into your body, you bring it in and you current it down through your legs. As you push from your hands through to your tail, lower your knees, curl the toes, chest comes either halfway or all the way. Ashtangasana Pranam, knees, chest, and chin. Keep pushing from your hands through to your tail and really feel the undulation, suctioning of the large intestine in, back towards the back of your pelvis and down your legs. Now push off from your toes, inhale. Come on up to whatever height of cobra you want. Stay grounded through your pointer fingers here. Now, if I were to lose the large intestine here, I would sag, right? Or there'd be like a collapse down towards the floor. So wrap your two pelvic halves internally, squeeze the pubic bones into the disc. This comes back, and that juicy, thick tube of the large intestine comes into you and down through the marrow of your leg bones. It'll lift your pelvis up a little bit, right? You won't be in a sag like this. You'll be lifting, and honestly, I think it feels so much better. And then you reach not just your tail away, but your rectum and your anus back behind you to lengthen. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stay with the Ujjayi pranayam. Stay with a longer exhale. Now we're going to walk our feet up. And when you walk your feet up, you want to suction the large intestine in and then pour it down. So you have to walk a little slower. You're going to go slow. As you draw the large intestine, you'll feel this kind of, to me, it feels like a suctioning of the organs in. Now, when you get there into Uttanasana, let yourself pour forward, but be mindful not to collapse the large intestine out of you. Keep drawing it in and then down through your legs. Good. Now push down, slide your hands up your shins, wave out halfway, and exhale, bow. And do that again. Large intestine in, pour it down through the marrow inside your leg bones. Everything pours to the earth and you wave out. You slide out halfway. Crown reaches way forward while the tail reaches way back. Exhale down. And let's do that one more time. Bend your knees as much as you need to if you have tight hamstrings. Large intestine in, down through your legs. Wave out, slide out. Now stay here. Slip your hands to the tops of your thighs. Give a gentle push into your femur bones and see if you can feel that when you touch into your thigh bones here, the femurs, you can touch into the marrow. And the marrow is this red, rich, deep, dark blood flow, and it's collecting that downward current of the large intestine. And then slip your hands now to the ascending, descending colon. Bend your knees a little bit. Keep pushing from your feet through to your head, reaching your tail back. And what does it feel like here to give a little more check-in? Undulating that large intestine in, and yes, small intestine too, mesentery too. Good, and then float your arms out to the sides. Bend your knees a lot and inhale, Utkatasana, fierce pose. So sitting down deep. You can pulse in and out of it a little bit. And in fact, let's do that. So large intestine in and down as you push down and inhale, come up to stand. And then exhale, sit back down. And you're going to do that a few more times. Go at your own pace, pushing down to rise up with your inhale. And you exhale, sit back down. Really find what's your pace, what's your rhythm. You know, nobody can tell anybody how or when they should let go, right? It's very personal. So a few more times. See if you can be very aware, and if it's helpful for you, keep your hands touching into your large intestine. Remember, when you touch a body part, that body part becomes more self-aware. It can feel itself a little more. Good. Now, the next time you sit down, stay there. Slip your hands to touch in. Full deep breath. And then float your arms out, opening up. And then exhale, pour all the way forward, Uttanasana. Push down, wave out. Hands can be on the floor or up your shins. And exhale, bow. Bend your knees a little. Yield the large intestine in, pour it down your legs, and then come all the way up to stand, all the way up. And as you reach up, stay here for a moment. Stay here in your Tadasana and feel the current down as you reach up. Stay here, keep reaching. Current down a little more as you slide up a little more. Good. And then when you're ready, arms out to the sides as you exhale, Anjali Mudra. And make sure you're standing at the top of your mat. And as you're ready, exhale, slide down through a little baby Utkatasana. Now, keeping the large intestine in that suctioning in and down, you're just going to slide. So don't even lift your left leg up, just slide it back. I know it's hard to slide on a sticky mat if you're on one. Now, keeping again, large intestine in, spin that back heel so you come to a 45-degree angle, scoop your right sitting bone under, and sit down a little more. So we do Virabhadrasana 1 all the time. How can you find the support of the large intestine so you're not spilling out? Because this is what happens for a lot of people. We spill out. Good. Now, let's move in and out of it like we did the lunge. So push the two pelvic halves, legs and feet, down and away from each other. Inhale, straighten, reach your arms, lift your inner thighs and your pelvic floor. And as you exhale, bend your elbows to cactus and sit down into Virabhadrasana 1. Push down, inhale. Exhale, sit down, 2. Inhale, rise. Long exhale for release, sit down, 3. Inhale. Long exhale, 4. Yield, push, receive, rise, reach. Exhale, 5. Now stay. Stay right here. Bring your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, and start to slide down your leg. Don't push forward here. Rest back, and then be mindful what's happening in the front of your pelvic halves, in your pelvic belly. Is there a hardening or is there an undulation of all the soft tissues in and down? Good. Now you're going to spin the back heel up. Use your hands if it's helpful. Bring the large intestine in and down as you slowly come down to the floor. Slip into plank. This time it's Chaturanga Dandasana. You can lower the knees first if you'd like, mindful of the support of the large intestine. Pull yourself through upward facing dog. Here's another opportunity. Are you hardening and pushing forward or collapsing? Or do you feel, oh yeah, let me bring this juicy tube that helps me let go. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now you're either going to walk your feet up to your hands just like we did before by bringing the large intestine in and pouring it down, or you'll exhale your breath all the way to empty and you'll do the same thing, L-I, in and down, but you'll jump up. Wave out whenever you arrive, long spine. You look down at the floor here. And exhale, bow. So first, undulate L-I in and down, push, Mula Bandha belly pit,
crown and tail reach away from each other, and you rise. Stay here a moment, current in and down through the large intestine while you slide up through your lungs, you slide up through your shoulder blades and your arms. You can do both. You can absolutely do both. And then exhale, arms out to the sides and down, Anjali Mudra. Inhale. Exhale, sit down, little baby Utkatasana, a sweet ferocity moment. And then feel again, how does the LI support you and support you keeping space in the groins and the front hip joints here? And then woo, just slide the right leg back, spin to a 45-degree angle and root down. Scoop that left sitting bone under. Now free your tail, and the rest will follow, right? We always used to joke about that, like the old song, free your mind and the rest will follow. Yes, free your mind, but also free your tail. And then, oh, here comes the LI in and down so that the back leg is not collapsed forward, or it's not collapsing forward in the front leg either. Good, now push down, you inhale, straighten, you reach. And you sit down with the bent knee and the bent elbows out to the sides. So both pelvic halves, legs and feet, firmly push down and away from each other. You inhale, draw up through your inner thighs and pelvic floor as you come to stand. And exhale, sit. 1. Yield, push, receive, rise, inhale. Exhale, 2. Lengthen the exhale. Rise when you're ready. Exhale, sit, 3. Inhale. You really want to lengthen the breath here. This is like more about pranayama than it is about anything else in a sense. 4. Come up, inhale. Exhale, 5. Good. Bring your hands to the fronts of your pelvic halves and to the depth of your pelvic belly. Spin the back heel up. Yield in and down as you lower your hands. Slip into plank. Lower your knees first if you need more support. Chaturanga Dandasana. Large intestine in and down as you pull yourself through and up. Inner thighs and pelvic floor rising to support this. And exhale, Adho Mukha. Downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, just take a minute. What would it feel like here? Just try it to spill. Just spill your guts out and spill the large intestine and the small intestine. Sometimes it's even hard to do it if you've been practicing a lot not to. And then see what it is to undulate them all back into you. Good, and when you're ready, you're either walking up by drawing that LI in and down through the marrow of your bones and feet into the earth, slowly, and you really step down. It's such a good feeling. You really pour down and then press down. Or you get all the way to empty and you jump up. And when you do arrive into Uttanasana, bow forward. Suction LI in and down. Push down through pelvic halves, legs and feet. Slide up, wave out halfway. Long exhale, bow. Good. Push into the earth. Float your arms out to the sides and rise. And this time as you exhale, touch your crown, third eye, and heart. Good. Touch in again, the fronts of pelvic belly, pelvic halves. And yield and push from your right foot through your crown as you float the left knee up. Flex the foot here. And again, check it out. Keep spacious in the front hip joints from the yield in and down. Now, kick the leg back, toes and knee pointing down. The pelvic halves in the front, where we call them pubic bones, they're still pulsing into the disc between them. The large intestine's coming in and down through both legs, Virabhadrasana 3. And then bend your right knee so you can reach your left foot back and just bring your toes to the floor. So now you're in a high lunge. Remember, we did that boxy lunge in the beginning. Now you get to check it out again. Did you spill the large intestine forward? Did you harden it and pull it back? Where's the in-between place? Now, as you're ready, inhale, reach your arms out, open and up. You're either reaching your arms up or hook your right thumb in front of your left and try to pull your thumbs apart. Now go down, inhale, straightening, just like we've been doing, and exhale, sit down. If you want, bend the back knee too. Push both pelvic calves, legs, and feet down and away from each other. Rise up through your inner thighs. Inhale, rise up through your pelvic floor. Sit down, long exhale, 1. Inhaling. Exhale, 2. It's hard when you bend the back knee also, so be extra mindful of this inner support. Inhale, rise. Exhale, 3. Inhaling, coming out of it. Arches of feet are rising, don't forget. 4. Inhale. Long exhale, bend. 5. Now re-straighten that back left knee by pushing back through the heel. Release your arms down. And your choice, you can go rest in child's or again, slip into plank. Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and Adho Mukha. And then those of you who are in child's pose resting, you can make your way, bringing your feet to your hands, and then everybody either jumping in the emptiness. So that means you exhale all the way to empty, then you hop up or you walk up. When you get there, wave out, inhale. Let it all go, exhale. Maybe even try exhaling through your mouth. Pushing down, large intestine yield in and down the legs as you rise. And collect down, crown, third eye, and heart. Standing here for a moment, take a nice exhale through your mouth, making a sigh or sound before we go to the other side. We let it go. We're in a brand new moment. You are alive, you are here, it is now, and you exist. Exhale, sit down. And then go down deeply through the left. Push from your left foot to your crown. You feel how it straightens the leg, and you feel how the prana rises, and then draw that right knee up. Keeping again, don't hike up the right hip. Keeping again neutral and steady through the yield of the large intestine. And keeping it, and feel it current down through both legs as you lean forward, kick the right foot back, toes and knee pointing down, pelvic calves pulsing into the disc between them. Reach your rectum and your anus back in the same way you reach your coccyx bone, and then touch your toes. Make sure that your feet are not wider than hip width apart. You want to bring them so that they're more narrow so that they slice right through the pubic disc. So in other words, that if you were to lower your heel to the floor, that front heel would draw a line to the middle of the back foot arch. Okay, so you're really, your legs are like the scissors in the actual scissors that you use when you're making crafts. Good, now press your legs down and away. Inhale, draw your pelvic floor up along with your inner thighs, the arches of your feet, and exhale, sit down. Remember, your arms are either reaching and straightening, or they're reaching and you're hooking your left thumb in front of the right. Exhale, sit, 2. Push down, inhale. Remember, you can be bending both knees. Exhale, 3. Rise with the inhale. Feel the arches of feet, inner thighs, pelvic floor currenting up while you exhale, Sit down, large intestine in and down. Come up. And I think it's just one more. Sitting down. Good. Re-straighten that back right knee by pressing back through your heel. Re-scoop that left sitting bone under and re-feel the sweetness of the tube that supports you in absorbing and letting go, coming in and down through your legs. As you exhale, don't collapse into that left hip. Slip into plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, or Urdhva Mukha. Pause here, see what you're doing. Notice what you feel. And exhale, push back. And again, exhale all the way to empty. And in that empty place, you're walking or hopping up. Push down, wave out, and bow. Go down, rise, rise, rise. But stay down, down, down. And then collect, crown, third eye, and heart. Touch the fronts of the pelvic halves. The light has shifted a little because I have a really high window where the sun comes in, and there's not much I can do about it right now, or really ever. I don't know how I would put a curtain up there, but we'll see. So large intestine in. Maybe if I come a little closer, it will help. Oh, you think it's beautiful? Good. I think it's beautiful too. Let's just roll with it. Sun, light, yes. So large intestine in, go down through the right and draw the left knee up again, but don't come up too high that you start to overly flex in the hip. Good, now stay right here. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Keep pushing from your right foot through to your crown. Rise up with your arms and exhale, twist to that leg. Now, if you want, you could place your right hand over your left knee and then your left hand to your sacrum. You have to strongly push right foot through to crown. You have to strongly draw up through the arches of your feet, your inner thighs, and your pelvic floor. Try to avoid hiking up this left hip. Right? Keep it all neutral. Good, and then reach your arms out to the sides. Inhale, face front. And exhale, slowly lower the leg. Release your arms with your next exhale out to the sides and down. And then other side. So again, touching in. It's sweet, it's juicy, it's an undulation of these soft tissues yielding into you. Push down through the left pelvic, half leg and foot, and float the right up. Draw your arches of feet, inner thighs, pelvic floor up. Good. And then Anjali Mudra. Do you notice how that right hip kind of wants to hike up? And when you really go at it through the LI, it's like the bones and the muscles say, okay, I surrender. I don't need to run the show here. I'll trust the tube of absorption and letting go. And I'll trust every moment there's a death and every moment there's a birth. So inhale, bring the arms up and spin towards the right leg. You can let your left hand touch your knee. I think it feels really nice. Bring your right hand to the sacrum. Mindful to stay steady, balanced, even through your pelvic halves by bringing and keeping your awareness in the large intestine. Yeah, you can spin through the lungs more. Go for it. Good, and then reach out to the side, straightening, inhale, facing forward, and slowly exhale, release your leg. Inhale, slide up through the front ligament in your spine, peek up, lift the base of your skull, draw your whole front body in without rounding your spine as you exhale, bow. Push down, wave out, inhale, and bow again. Push to the earth, large intestine comes in and pours down through the marrow of your leg bones as you rise. and collect, exhaling, crown, third eye, and heart. Good. Now from here, you're going to grab your 2 blocks. So go ahead and grab them. We'll see what happens if we move forward a little. Okay, no, that doesn't help. Okay, so 2 blocks. And we're bringing it into Parivrtta Trikonasana because it's a fabulous posture to explore. So take your 2 blocks in your hands and use them with you. Inhale, reach out, open and up. And then exhale, pour forward and take your hands on your blocks right out in front of your 2 feet. Press down, wave out. And exhale, bow. Now bending both knees, bring your big toes together. Bring your feet together if you can. And slide your left foot back about 3 to 4 feet. Spin the heel just to a 45-degree angle and then go down. Now, your hips might start to sway to the right. First, bring your 2 pubic bones into the disc into you, and then keep pressing your 2 legs and feet down and away from each other. So first we're in a Parsvottanasana variation with your spine long. So you're reaching your crown and tail away from each other. You're pushing from your hands through to your tail and your feet through to your crown. Now, as you start to feel, okay, where are you here? How can you bring the large intestine in and, again, energetically down? It doesn't mean that you tuck your tail under or anything like that. It's just an energetic current. Now, bring your left hand and block to either the inside of your right foot or out in front of your right toes. And you're going to start to draw the right side, the ascending colon, into you. And let that spin the right pelvic half back around a little bit. Now, as you drop the left pelvic half forward, because you're coming into a big twist here, as the left pelvic half starts to drop forward, it's not a drop, it's a wrap. The left pelvic half starts to wrap forward more. Then bring that descending colon into you more. So you really feel the spin moving through the ascending and, oh my goodness, the transverse. So what connects that right side pelvic half ascending colon with the left side pelvic half descending? It's the transverse. And it's so gorgeous here. You can spin through that horizontal support of the transverse colon. So see if you can find all of that. And when you feel like, okay, I've got it, then you can float your right arm up. Keep pulsing your legs, feet down and away from each other. Stay down through the big right toe ball and keep feeling, what is it to spin from the inside out? What is it to draw that right side colon, to spin through the transverse? And even though that left pelvic half is wrapping forward, keep that side of the colon yielding in and down through the left leg. Good, and when you're ready, slowly lower. Your choice here, you can take a vinyasa, Surya Namaskar A, or just spin the back heel up and step up. Your choice. We'll all meet up with each other. And when you're ready to, you'll come and inhale, wave out, Ardha Uttanasana, hands on blocks, and exhale, bow. Just bend your elbows down towards the earth, drop your neck and head, Uttanasana. Good, and then push down, wave out, and bend both knees, slide your right foot back about 3 to 4 feet, spin the heel slightly. It's not even a full 45 degrees for many people, because for many people that can be too much on the hips. Descend your heel and push, hands to tail. You can have your hands on a chair or a wall instead of blocks if you want to come up a little higher. Push from your feet through to your crown. And that front foot goes through the pubic disc to the back leg foot, right? Because it's like the scissors. Now, as you're pulsing the 2 pubic bones into the disc slips into you, that supports the energetic rise of the belly pit in and up. And then feel, it's not just, oh, I'm going to bring my left hip back. No, no, no. It's I'm going to suction through juicy undulations, the tube of the large intestine, in and down through the legs. And then bringing your right hand to the inside of the left foot or out in front of your left big toe ball. Now we begin the journey. Now I suggest you take your left hand to the left front pelvic belly to support. How do you push the left leg and foot down and away from you? Draw that side of the intestine in, spin through the transverse, wrap that right pelvic half internally, and then still suction the right side colon in and down. You got to really actively press back through the right leg. So it's so gorgeous here. And when you're ready, you can cultivate that left arm up and keep feeling the spin from the inside to the out. So spinning first through that large intestine, that tube of letting go. And yes, the small intestine yields in. The mesentery does as well. Are you still breathing, by the way? Long, slow, deep breaths. Good, and then when you're ready, you feel like you've had enough, give a little extra reach back through the rectum and the anus, and then using the transverse colon, unspin. And again, your choice, you can take a vinyasa or just step up. So if you're taking a vinyasa, you come to plank, palakasana, chaturanga dandasana, urdhva mukha, adho mukha. And as you're ready, exhale all the way to empty. Walk or hop up. Wave out, inhale. Bow with your exhale. Yield, push, receive, float arms out to the sides and rise. Nice long exhale, touch your crown, third eye, and heart. Good, turn to face me and open your legs here, open your feet pretty wide. And we're gonna have a seat. So the feet are turned out on a diagonal and then all the way up through the pelvic halves and the legs. Now here's the thing, even though the pelvic halves, the legs and the feet are turned out, you're gonna actually feel as if my arms were like the thick tube of the large intestine. You're gonna bring them in still. They're not gonna start splaying out to go to each side leg. You're gonna bring them in and down. And then let's come in and out of this, just like we did with the other standing postures. So current down, yield and push, down and away, arches of feet, inner thighs, pelvic floor. Inhale, you stand up. So all those points are rising, arches of feet, inner legs, pelvic floor, belly pit. Exhale, set. 1, inhale. Long exhale, 2. Inhaling. Long exhale, 3. Rising. 4. And 5. And a little side to side here. Inhale one way and exhale the other. Let yourself just be loose and fluid, like a windmill going to the left, to the right. It's not a full circle like a windmill would be, but it's just arcing. Now feel the steadiness of that large intestine. It's not spilling out, it's coming in. Feel how it supports you so that you can be fluid here in the upper. You've got that real earthy density. And it's liquid too, because the large intestine loves the marrow in your leg bones. They wanna be together in this like thick, dark fluid melting down like blood, it's very rich in there. Good. And then you're going to spin. Okay. So one foot, it doesn't matter which one you go first, as long as you're focusing on, okay, this juicy tube of the organ comes in, and then I spin the back heel and I spin. And then I release and I spin the other back heel and I spin. And you can do this really slow with your hands touching your pelvic belly to help remind. Remember, when we touch, whatever it is we're touching becomes more self-aware. And you can also take it fast and let that transverse colon really spin you side to side. Open your tongue and your jaw. And if you're going fast, feel free to really swing the arms. Inhale left, exhale right. So whatever it is, slow or fast, stay aware of what you're doing in the inside. And why? Not why with an intellectual thought about it, but why from the presence of the self-aware cells in that part of your body. Good. Now, when you're ready, you're going to slowly start to bring it to stillness. And then reopen your legs if they got a little narrower. Spin the feet, the legs, the pelvic halves internally. Suction in and down. And then belly pit rises, slide up through the anterior ligament in the front of your spine. Peek up. And then lift the base of your skull, lift your jaw joints. Feel the top two vertebrae on your spine go up. And then keep lifting the base of the skull. Third eye recedes in, and you bow. Bring your hands to the earth or to your blocks. Bring the crown of your head to the earth or to your blocks, whatever feels supportive. You know, learning and discerning what is actually supportive for you in each moment is an art. It's a very sacred art. It has a lot to do with allowing what was to die to be released, and then what is right here, right now, to be honored. You know, and your body is sacred, so honor it. What does the crown of your head need right now? Does it need 2 blocks? Do you want to bring the crown of your head to the earth? Fingertips in alignment with the tips of the toes, or maybe you interlace your arms and bring them up overhead. Right? The arms behind you, palms together. So wherever you want to be with this Prasarita Padottanasana is lovely, and be in it and count 5 breaths. And with each breath, lengthen your exhale a little bit more. And whenever you have exhaled that 5th breath, pause in the empty space. And from the empty space, receive your inhale. Re-undulate the large intestine in and down your legs. Walk your fingertips out so you come to lengthen your spine. And then heel toe your way in so that you come have a seat in a squat. And I'm going to suggest you take your blocks under your pelvic floor as you sit down into your squat. Now, anyone who a squat isn't comfortable, you're welcome to come up higher and see if that helps. You're also welcome to just come out of the squat and not squat. You could just sit cross-legged here. Okay, so sitting up on something, you can also have a blanket under your heels. Go ahead and bring your arms inside. Press your pelvic halves, legs, and feet down and away from you. Press your arms and inner legs in towards each other. It's kind of a firm Anjali Mudra. And this Upaveshasana or Malasana variation, you know, always many names for the one, lots of different expressions for the one. Thank God, thank Goddess that that's true. There is room for differentiation. There's room to honor every unique being and how we identify ourselves and how we relate to the beloved. Now, when you're ready, you're going to go and squeeze in. So squeeze in first to your right side ascending colon by sliding the right shoulder down towards the inside of the right leg. Press the back of the shoulder and the inside of the right leg into each other. A little squeeze into the ascending colon and then spin. Use the transverse colon to spin and reach. Let your feet and legs continue to push down and away, and press your right hand down and away, grounding your scapula onto your back. Don't pull your scapula down, just ground it down. Spin through the transverse a little bit more. 2 more long exhaling breaths. Good, and then bring it into the center as you're ready. And then a little squish into the descending. Lower the left shoulder to the inside of the left knee, push the left hand, roll through the transverse. Stay here, couple breaths. And when you're ready, you'll slide out of it, coming into the center. Open your tongue, your jaw, 1 lion's breath here. Inhale. Good. And then scoot forward off your support, come to the top of your mat. Push your hands down and away from you and start to elongate yourself down. So catch your sacrum and really draw your spine long as you come down. Good. Step your feet so that your heels are within reach of your tippy fingers. So if you reach down, your tippy fingers could touch your heels. Press your legs and feet down and away from you and float up, Setu Bandha bridge. Now come up, but only to the point where you're not hardening your large intestine up and out of you. So it's fine to roll the arms under, as many of you do, and interlace your fingers and press down and really come up high. But watch that edge where you start to thrust up. That's kind of the energy of overdoing, over controlling, over manipulating. And as we learn from yoga, one of the most profound teachings in yoga is to actually completely surrender the fruits of our actions, completely surrender our lives to divine mystery and divine guidance. So if we catch ourselves doing a physiological action of thrusting, pushing, hardening, that's informing the consciousness of the cells in our body, and vice versa, right? So spiritual alignment affects physical alignment. Physical alignment affects spiritual alignment. It's all one thing. So 3 more breaths, 3 to 5 more breaths in your Setu Bandha, exploring that edge where you are receiving your large intestine into you and down your legs, but you're still pushing down and rising up into the height of the back bend. We're only doing one of these, so stay up as long as you can. You know, there's value in doing a posture like 3 times and coming in and out. There's also value in taking a posture and staying in it for quite a long time. And remember, staying in it means that there's a lot of inner and outer sponging going on. You're never striking a pose and getting hard. Now, when you're ready, slowly start to take your arms and your shoulder blades out from under you and then really spread wide through your lungs and your ribs. Take your arms either out to the sides or up overhead. And then as you reach your coccyx bone and your rectum and your anus away from you, so towards your feet, you reach away, slowly lengthen your spine down. Good. And then slowly, when it gets down, slide both legs straight out along the floor. Arms are up overhead if possible. It's a nice Supta Tadasana. Feel again, can you be in your body as though you were standing on the floor in Tadasana, not flaring your ribs, threading the krua, the stem of your breathing diaphragm, down to your tail, and really feeling the containment of the large intestine. Now, as you're ready, follow your next exhale all the way to empty. Curl up, bring your arms down, and squeeze your right knee in, compressing into the ascending colon. Nice, deep compression. And then use your left hand, guide that leg over and across your body. Big spin. 3 breaths, focusing on a long exhale. When you let go of the third exhale, pause in the empty space. And then inhale to unspin. Squeeze it in. Exhale, curl up. And send the leg out straight, the arms up overhead. Again, when you're ready, exhale, it'll be the left side. Curl up, pull your arms down, squeeze your left leg in. Apanasana, also known as Pavanmuktasana. And after that deep compression into the descending colon, spin through the transverse. Spin through the transverse colon and guide that leg over and across. 3 breaths, focusing on the exhale. And when you've released that third exhale, pause in the empty space. And then inhale, unspin. Exhale, squeeze it in, curl it up. And release the leg out straight, both arms up overhead. And then last thing, exhale, both legs come in, curl up, squeeze up, drop your large intestine towards the back abdominal wall, towards the cup of your pelvic halves. Drop your small intestine as well towards the back abdominal walls. You're curled up. Bring the soles of your feet together, open your knees, curl up a little bit more. You can bring the arches of your feet to or towards the crown of your head. And as you're ready, let it all go. Release for Shavasana. Let everything go. Maybe take a nice long exhale through your mouth. You can make a sound. Anytime you need support in finding the energy of letting go, sometimes an exhale through your mouth can be helpful. So settling yourself completely. Shavasana is another opportunity to experience this thing called full release or the death of a moment so that a new moment is born. Rest in the stillness. Rest in the quiet. Rest in the noise. Sometimes in Shavasana there's deep silence and spiralic noise. So yield into what is true for you. Part of letting go and accepting, like true radical santosha, radical acceptance, is about really resting in whatever is for you without judging it, without trying to change it. So be in it as it is for you. It's a shorter shavasana, so feel free to rest longer. But to honor time and space, we will slowly make our way out. And again, reminder, you are welcome to stay longer. Also, highly encourage you to later in the day do another shavasana, do a yoga nidra, do another meditation, even if you meditated this morning. Even when you don't have time, that's when you need to meditate even more. So making your way to your seat, notice what it feels like to sit in your seat after spending this time of being more sensitive to your large intestine, more aware. And drawing your hands into Anjali Mudra, holding a moment of your own personal prayer around acceptance, letting go, and presence. Let's close with a single Om and 3 chants of Shanti. As you're ready, inhaling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you, beloved people, for being here and playing with your large intestine with me.